Hey, John.
Hey, what up, dude?
That's clean
Oh,
glasses.
that's so far away. Okay.
So now I have to travel back to the land of my microphone.
Yay,
And I've done it.
we're making life a little bit more complicated / easier with 2 microphones.
Yeah, so we have 2 microphones.
That's cool.
That's the news wedges of the day.
No, well, good there. Well, okay. Now Alistair and I can
I'm choking it down.
actually look at each other and have this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make eye contact the entire show.
Never break eye contact.
Never. Well, that didn't last very long.
Sorry,
did
I
it?
just broke eye
Oh,
contact.
goodness gracious.
Hey, so you know what I just got done doing?
Introducing the intro to our podcast?
Before that.
Oh. Urinating?
Well, before that.
Um,
Let me help you out. I just finished watching Civil War. Captain America's Civil War.
colon.
Shout out to Colin.
That's,
I doubt he's listening.
yeah.
Anyway.
It's Cowlin.
Cowlin?
Yeah. Colon is like,
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
It is. That's a tough name.
yeah. What a guy.
Cheers
to you.
To you. It's awesome.
I haven't
Civil
seen
War. Yeah. You also haven't seen The Avengers 2 or The Avengers.
it. Yep. I also haven't seen Captain America
It's
or Winter Soldier
It's been a while since John's seen a superhero movie.
or Iron Man 3.
Have you seen Iron Man 2?
Yes.
Okay.
I also haven't seen the Black Widow movie.
Oh, no one has because America is sexist?
Whoa!
Wait, is it Kevin Feige who hates women? Someone hates women. Anyway.
Wow.
So that's cool.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a little interesting thing. Welcome back to Bite Size Lemons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're on the 7th episode.
That's number 007 for those of you that are counting.
And some of you are.
Yeah, or some of you just look at the little number next to our thing.
You know, something we have not talked about. I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's the names.
Yeah. The name of our podcast is named after Pokemon.
Yeah, so the name of the number is the national dex number of. It's so nerdy, but this is the Squirtle episode, which is adorable.
Which is great because Squirtles are awesome.
Yeah, so there you go. You know where I first saw my first Squirtle?
When?
On a game console.
Really?
Really?
Well, isn't that just
a great segue?
A great segue. Okay, today we're going to be talking about console gaming.
Yes, but do you know why, John?
Why, Alistair?
You do know.
Okay,
you
I do
tell us.
know. Okay. We were just kind of hanging out.
Hanging out.
You know, just playing some rock, paper, scissors, throwing...
As we do.
You know, throwing guitars against walls like we do.
Yep.
And Natalia,
a wild message appeared.
Good friend of mine. She decided that she was going to make a public appearance on our Bite Size Lemons page.
Oh, she's done it.
She has invoked the conversation that is going to be this episode.
Oh, she's done it now.
She posted on our Facebook.
Yeah.
A little tidbit, a little wall post, much like a spitball against the ceiling. of our Facebook page. And she posed the question, and forgive me if I'm doing the voice wrong, Natalia, if you're listening to this. Bite-sized lemons, I have a question. Which video game console is the best? I need to play YouTube videos off of it as well, but it still has to be cool AF, and I want to play Mario Kart, like party-friendly, slick console. What do I do?
Wow, I'm sure that voice is just spot on.
Nah, she has a lot prettier of a voice. I can tell you that much right now.
There you go.
She's a great person. Anyway, so Natalia and all those intrigued by console gaming, that is what we're going to be talking about.
Indeed it is. So, right off the bat, she needs something that plays YouTube videos, but also is cool AF. Whoa, that nearly slipped out.
Cool as
French toast.
Francis. Fennekin.
Fennekin's not cool, though.
Ferrothorn.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But also to play Mario Kart. Well, let me tell you, the only one that can play Mario Kart, well, that's not true.
Yeah, we've got some options.
Yeah, you actually do have some options.
So we first want to say, hey, thanks, Natalia.
Thanks for listening.
For listening and being engaging. That's something that I'm looking forward to doing more.
Being engaged?
In life. Yeah. I one day want to get so engaged, like just the whole 9 yards, like the whole ring on the finger thing. Like, I'm ready for that.
Nice.
I'm not actually ready for that. I'm ready for the idea of that to be in my brain.
Whoa, we've gone too far. Let's get back onto consoles.
Right. Consoles are pretty cool.
Mario Kart, you've got the 64. Or do you have anything before that plays that?
Yeah, the SNES.
Oh, okay. SNES, you've got the 64, you've got the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
You've got
Game Boy.
The Game Boy?
Advanced.
That had Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
like a jank Mario
Game Boy
Kart.
Advance, but throw that out the window.
Yeah, it gave us some of the really cool stages, though.
Oh, yeah,
about that.
You've got the Wii.
Yeah.
Wii U.
Yeah.
And that's it. Oh, and the DS.
And the DS.
Right.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then like random. I guess I don't know why they started numbering them like halfway through.
Yeah, that got weird.
It was okay. SNES,
64,
Game Boy, Wii, GameCube.
I guess it is actually.
I guess yeah. So it's 8 because the last one that came out is Mario Kart 8.
Wii U.
Right. So anyway.
So there you go. Anyway, but you also want to play YouTube videos of it. So I believe the Nintendo 3DS does that. Also Wii U.
It looks you were getting some strong Nintendo vibes, mainly because
the only thing can play
party console. That's the way to go. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
Think about all the things that you can do at parties. Like you can blow bubbles in the punch, and you can play Smash Brothers, and that's about it.
I don't think I've ever done anything else at a party.
Blow bubbles in the punch.
Considering parties for us are usually you and me
playing
Spud
Smash
Reggie
Brothers.
playing Smash Bros. And Fan and Kenneth.
And Kenneth sometimes.
Did I say Reggie? Oh, and Nico.
And Nico's here too. Everyone's just having a grand old time.
Oh, I want to party now.
Well, give me a later this week and we'll talk.
Oh, John's birthday is coming up.
Yeah, I guess this is my birthday episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be 90.
Yep. Good old 90.
He's on his last leg.
Yeah. I'm going to drink a lot of prescription water. Because that's what 90-year-olds do on their 90th birthday.
That's what my doctor recommended.
Yep, that's what they told me to do.
Anyway, so you're looking at either, I think a Wii also plays YouTube. So you've got Wii, Wii U, or Nintendo 3DS, Natalia, since we kind of got off track there. Those are the ones if you really want to play Mario Kart. But another good party console. They're all pretty good party consoles.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's address the question Natalia, that's what we're thinking about that. But there are a lot of different consoles, and here are some pros and cons for our consoles. Oh boy, they're all so bad. Because bad. Okay, all right.
We're consoling
that joke.
everyone.
Yeah, well, it was pretty con par with some of my other jokes.
That's pretty good, dude.
I tried. I really tried.
You're a pro.
Yeah, no, I gotta do what I gotta do.
You're a pro.
I gotta do what I gotta do. Get it?
Yes.
Can you explain that one to me? Because
Not at all.
It didn't make any sense.
I just said yes so we could move on.
All right, cool. Okay, so consoles.
Yes, consoles.
It goes way back to the days of Atari. Good old Atari game consoles. You had that joystick and that one button, and then you'd run around from the Fofoba gods. They were like, I'm gonna eat you. And then you'd like get eaten, and then you'd have to turn the game off because there was no reset button.
It's true.
You were like, oh, okay, word. Well, so I guess I'll just start over then.
Neither of us were alive.
Yeah,
really
we were mere thoughts in the cosmic universe of gastrodons.
Gastriodons?
Yeah, gastrodons.
Oh, I think you combined Bastiodon and Gastrodon.
I sure did.
Gastriodon.
Look at that good old fusion Pokemon.
We need some fan art ASAP.
Let's do it. Okay, but those were the days that, you kind of had a few systems kind of floating around, and not much was really going on competition-wise.
Arcades were still big.
Yeah, you just had games that were games. You know, you'd be able to play them whenever you wanted and all that stuff. Then you had when Nintendo started up, they were like, hey, we're going to make some pretty awesome games. They started coming out with like the NES and the Nintendo Entertainment System. They were like, all right, cool. Well, this is awesome. There are a bunch of like pixels and Mario's a thing, and we're going to make that a thing. And that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And, everybody got into that. But then it started going further. And then you started running into things like the Super NES. And that's when things started to hit the fan, because that's when you started having competition. The Xbox Microsoft area was starting to look into gaming consoles.
Was Xbox before PS1?
No. I think because I got my Xbox when I was probably around like 5th grade, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's may just because I'm like a late bloomer.
Because I always had. I'm not a big console person. I think I've had like 5 consoles total.
Yeah.
In my life.
And they're all to play like one game.
They're all to play one game on that console, except from the PS2, of which I had many, many, many games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think. Well, that's not true. The Game Boy Color was my first console. But it's a handheld, so I don't know if that.
Yeah.
Really counts.
So handhelds are something that we can talk about in a second.
Okay.
Just for home consoles, like my handhelds are their own beast in nature, like, but for home consoles we had the when it started competing against each other. I think it was around the era of N64 is when the PlayStation came out, and they started competing, and then Microsoft jumped in.
Yeah, got the Xbox rolling.
Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. And so, the PlayStation used discs, and that was like, it kind of looked like a weird lunchbox. You had
what, the PS1?
The PS1.
Yeah.
You had like this weird like gray thing, and then like a big circle in the middle, and then it had 2 buttons to reset and open the circle.
That was it.
And that was it. And then like plugs for the controller and stuff. You're like, okay, all right, I can get behind this. Then you look at the NES, and it was like, I'm a brick. And then the Super NES was like, I'm a prettier brick. And then the 64 came out, and
that was slick.
Yeah, it was had this weird like dome thing on it.
Yeah,
it had these weird controllers that had 3 prongs for who knows what reason.
They just fit in your hand though.
Yeah, but then you're like sitting there trying to play Ocarina of Time, and you're like, how the heck am I supposed to play my Ocarina? Which handle do I use?
Yeah.
And goes to show, you want to be somebody who knows how to work handles.
True.
And if you are working with 3 handles, you need to be
you need 3
properly
hands
educated
for those 3 handles.
You need to be properly educated on your 3-handle McGee's.
True.
So
after then you've got the Xbox comes in.
Hold on. So for the N64,
mm-hmm.
we had the introduction of a baby joystick.
Right.
Right. So they had buttons on the NES and SNES.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it was a D-pad and 2 buttons, A and B.
I think in the SNES they went to 4.
4 buttons. There's no way to know.
I don't know. But for the N64, you had the return of the joystick, and the joystick then stuck forever for everything.
Yeah, the SNES controller did have 4 buttons. You're correct.
Hooray, I'm a man.
Congratulations. X, Y, A, and B.
Yeah. X, Y, and then they kept that for
pretty much everything.
Because, N64 didn't have X, Y on it for some unknown reason.
It was A and B.
Right. But then when it went to GameCube, and then as it went on. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. GameCube is just a horrible mess of a controller.
I love the GameCube controller.
It's so asymmetrical. It's just the whole right hand thumb just weirds me out, man.
What do you mean?
Like you've got the A and the B.
Yeah.
And the A is massive. And the B is baby, and then the Y and the X wrap around the A, and it just looks weird. It's difficult to remember where all the buttons are.
I love that controller.
Really?
And for that reason. I think the hot mess that the controller is just makes me really happy.
What about the bumpers? What's your favorite controller for bumpers?
Probably the GameCube.
I love the GameCube bumpers as well.
They're fitting, and they have a click to them.
Yeah,
so like when you press down on some of the other ones, it's just kind of like,
it's like felt.
Yeah, this is weird. But like when you press down on a GameCube controller, it's like click, 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 and you're this is nice. I like this.
Yeah,
I understand all you Project M people now. Okay, so I actually didn't. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and so I grew up with Nintendo systems. I had a bunch of random stuff like I went from N64 onward. I've had their systems ever since.
Yeah.
Because my brother brought home an N64 one day, and he was like, "This is mine, and I'm gonna play it without you." And I was like, "I won't play it." He was like, "Okay." And then I watched him play it while he had my controller unplugged, and I would just sit there and watch him and be like, "Man, I'm so good at this."
That's classic.
So he kind of introduced me to that, and then when the GameCube came around, that's when I started playing my own games.
Do you remember what your first console game was?
The first console game?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Super Smash Brothers for the N64.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was either that or Pokemon Coliseum.
Dude,
Pokemon Stadium. Sorry,
yeah.
Pokemon Stadium.
I was such a late bloomer when it comes to consoles. My first game was for the PS2.
Yeah?
And it was Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus,
Yeah.
and I love that game to
Yeah.
this date.
I mean, I'm a sucker for Smash Brothers as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just because I've been playing it my entire life. And it's really interesting because, I think I've talked about this before when I was playing video games. I remember as a wee babby, looking at like the Pokemon games on the Game Boy, and I was like, these are the best graphics that will ever exist on this planet.
I know, isn't that
Like,
weird?
These graphics, there's a little representation of me in this box, and like, that is awesome. And now we're like, like super fire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. So, the graphics, of course, are a huge thing. Speaking of graphics, that's what really pulled a lot of people from the Nintendo world into Xbox and PlayStation.
They were just super powerful computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so especially the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of started the whole 3D thing.
Well, also, the 3D,
okay,
polygons and stuff were
good 3D, because I guess Super Mario was the first thing.
And stuff like that. And, you had the first 3D Legend of Zelda there.
Yeah.
You had 3D things in Spyro and Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those were iffy, man.
They were...
Especially Crash Bandicoot.
Boy.
That was rough.
Poke your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. But I remember playing Spyro games. I really liked those. Like, I was never really into the PlayStation, but I always thought it was really interesting because I had friends that every once in a while would like have a PlayStation at their house even though they didn't own it, and we would just like hang out and play. And I played Spyro games. Those are my favorite on the PlayStation. I never really got into Crash Bandicoot, but my brother did. He actually was nicknamed Crash for the longest time in middle school, in the beginning of high school, because he
played it so much.
Yeah, he played it so much. He acted like the character a lot, and he was just a big goofball. And it's really funny because I grew up with all the Nintendo stuff, and I didn't really get to experience full-heartedly the PlayStation stuff, the Xbox stuff, until I was a little bit older. And that's why Nintendo always kind of held a weird place in my heart, because now, as I'm older now, everyone's like, yeah, the Wii U's probably the weakest of the main three right now. And I'm like, I can agree with that. And they're like, yeah, you own one, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I'm not even ashamed.
We're not big console people. We're not console snobs by any stretch of the imagination. The most recent PlayStation I've owned is a PS2. And the most recent Xbox I've owned is a 360 Elite, like the original 360 Elite. And I feel like I'm more of a... I used to be more of a PlayStation guy, but now I think I'm an Xbox. Despite the only reason I don't do modern consoles is because of the just online necessity to play.
Yeah.
And that's my least favorite part about all the consoles.
Yeah. I mean, you're not even wrong. That's something that actually really bothers me. Okay. So we talked a little bit about the PlayStation and then the N64, but when it is something that I think it all started with the Xbox, the whole online thing.
Yeah, that brought in gaming and hardcore gaming.
Yeah, you had there were competitive gamers before. There have been competitive gamers all since gaming started.
Arcades. Oh, I suppose chess even.
Yeah. Or that one weird get the ball into the cup thing.
Oh.
But there were some real hardcore ball cuppers.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Savage.
I have
you all right there?
Yeah, but just okay.
Yes.
Excuse my... You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, so there's been competitive gaming since, the arcade times.
Right. Well, and as that goes on, you have when the Xbox hit, the Xbox brought to the table something called Xbox Live. And Xbox Live was kind of like this pet project, I guess, where it would hook up to some sort of internet connection, and you could play with people via the internet. And that's when everything started going bonkers because, well, I guess the Xbox was kind of more of an entertainment system. It was a little bit more than gaming. You could watch movies on it.
Yeah.
Like you could, basically turn it into a DVD slash, DVD player. It worked as that.
And it was really good at ripping and copying. It had all the capabilities if you knew how to,
mod it,
work
stuff,
it,
yeah.
mod it, yeah.
And it was really good at like the first like screen captured videos, I think.
Yeah.
Were a huge thing that definitely took off around the Xbox time. And the one thing that I think of when I think of the Xbox or the normal Xbox was the introduction of games like Halo. And Halo
It was a big deal.
was a huge deal.
Such a pretty game for its time. Looked amazing.
It was also very gruesome, very
Well, before that even, the whole gruesomeness, you had Doom.
Yeah, you had some other games that like made that point to be horror games almost.
Yeah.
But not even horror games, but just like
Absolutely
brutal gory games, stuff like that. And it was interesting because they really played with the idea when they came with Halo. It's like, this game is going to be absolutely crazy when we bring it to the table. But so many people loved it because of like obviously, we fell in love with the storyline.
Yeah.
But we also fell in love with, this character who is this no-name kind of plug yourself in character, who went and just did complete and total badass things, and just kind of took life by the reins and just started doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then from then on, you had a lot more of those characters kind of popping up.
I feel like that kind of thing where you get to fill the shoes started with like Legend of Zelda. Even back in the NES days.
Yeah. But you also have the first person aspect.
Yeah, and that changed everything.
And that changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Granted, you had first person stuff
Like
before that.
Doom.
Like Doom and other games. But
dude, Doom, I don't know if you've played or taken a look at Doom like recently, but that game was savage.
Yeah.
That made Halo look like T for teen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that game was like disgusting.
Well, I'm crazy. I really enjoyed. I think, well, for me, I know that for me, Halo was my big step into quote unquote adult gaming life.
Yeah, same here.
It was like, oh wow, I'm playing a game where I have a gun, and like, this is a big deal. There was a time when I like thought I could like hide it from my parents, but they like obviously knew, so I was like, duh. But Halo was definitely that step. It really was like the push into that.
Yeah.
And so I went around and I would play Halo like with my brother sometimes, but usually alone, just kind of like not even taking in like the story or anything. I would just go and like wander around the world and shoot stuff. I was just like, this is fine. But it also was weird because when it came down to it, I didn't feel like I was ever... It's getting a little weird and political, but I never
Oh.
felt weird about playing something that was considered a violent game.
Mm.
I don't think that really shaped me into a violent person because I don't really consider myself a violent person.
You became a violent person on your own accord.
Yeah, definitely. No, but I knew that it was a game, and that was something that I'm really passionate about talking about because I think that it's kind of weird when people single out gamers and say, "Oh, this is, gamers are doing all this terrible stuff because of violence." And it's like, well, if you know that, what you're doing is a game, then it's kind of a different story. But I don't feel like I was ever desensitized or like, think that people's lives are at, fault or anything because I played a video game. That being said, little like preteen me running around Halo with his guns shooting rocks, like that was a weird experience. Like I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't think of shooting like my friends, but I didn't think of like, cuddling puppies while I was shooting rocks. I was like,
No, I definitely agree. I mean, one of the biggest games of my childhood is War of the Monsters, and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
There's no story. It's just you pick a monster and you beat the poop out of your best friend who's picked a different monster.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's good stuff.
And yeah, my parents were super concerned about that one.
There were like violence on TV and in video games. And you're like, I mean, what?
Yeah.
Like, and so, the Xbox Halo being a live game.
Oh yeah.
Xbox Live. We got a bunch of internet stuff starting to work there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started talking about like, okay, well, what are we going to do with the next few systems? GameCube was like, well, screw the internet. We're just going to keep it local.
Yeah.
But PlayStation,
they went into the PS2.
They went into PS2, and the PS2 became the start of what PlayStation started to do in their multimedia entertainment system.
Yeah, so that PlayStation very quickly realized what Xbox was doing, and they were like, we need to get on the DVD train real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So they upped their... Sony did a fantastic job, and they're still doing a great job of just updating software. Like, people who are building supercomputers pretty much just stack like 10 PS4s together and literally just run them.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. The processing power for PS2 was mind-blowing at the time.
Yeah, definitely. And it was also like really high quality graphics for its time.
Yeah,
high quality
card.
High quality just like processing speed. And then also, I'm sorry to all the people that know.
Yeah, I was
like,
just thinking about
consoles,
this.
like,
Everyone who knows what they're talking about are rolling their eyes
they're
so
like,
hard.
oh my gosh, these little two Doomcoffs don't know what the heck they're doing. No, but they, from my understanding, little smart biscuits, from my understanding, it was just like the PS2 brought so many new things to the table that the Xbox tried to bring to the table and really did a great job on kickstarting. But
just
once
did a little more. Yeah.
Once the PS2 got into the running, it was just like, oh goodness, it kind of blew everything out of the water. And that's the weird thing, is because Xbox, I'm saying all of this because the PlayStation might have, or when did the PS2 come out?
That's
when did the Xbox
actually what
come
I'm
out?
just looking up.
Because I know that the Xbox was around when I was finishing up starting to play the N64.
Oh, so you know what?
What?
The what the heck is this? The Atari. Oh boy. So
Yeah,
the
okay.
Atari and PlayStation were released at the same time. The Jaguar for the Atari. The Game Boy Color, and then Sega that was our second to last thing. That was right before the Dreamcast. They released the Saturn Nomad, which I've actually never heard of.
Neither have I.
You got the Genesis before it, and then the Dreamcast after it. Anyway, this is all before the Xbox. So the PlayStation 1 came out before the Xbox. Then the Xbox came out along with the PS2.
Along with, I think that Xbox stepped it up, and then PS2 kind of jumped on, kind of on the same level with Xbox. And so I feel, personally, I think that Xbox kind of brought it to the table. PS2 mastered it. And then Nintendo was like, guys, check out these sweet, colorful controllers. And, but Nintendo was doing some great things there too. That's when Nintendo really, really solidified the fact that they wanted their characters to go across systems. You had characters that went across systems from the SNES or NES, SNES, NES to 64, but when it started going to the GameCube, that's when you started having characters develop, because you had stories that were starting to form.
Well, because they could, because
of
all the processing power.
And so even things like, I'll go back and I'll play Ocarina of Time and stuff, and I'll look at the dialogue for those games, and I'm like, wow, this was such a, almost like a primitive form of dialogue.
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot of characters formed. All of it was imagination. And it was great for what it was at its time, but you can definitely tell that it is dated when you look back on it.
Yeah.
All of the text was, one font and stuff like that. Getting back to a game that I've previously mentioned, which I happen to love a lot, is Paper Mario. Paper Mario brought a lot of stuff to the table. It was there was Mario RPG, and then, which was kind of weird, and then Paper Mario and Superstar Saga were the running Mario RPG games. And so when Paper Mario came out, I looked at it and I was like, this is really cool. But what they did was they added all of these weird, crazy, cartoonish characters into their game.
Yeah.
And so when you would talk to people, the font would get really, really small. And it was like they were whispering. And, they would shake the text when you were reading it. It was like, oh, this person's scared. Or like when they would yell, like the letters would go up and down, like, like a little wave or something, it was like...
And that's for the GameCube, right?
No, that was for the N64.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so even in the N64, when they were doing that with Paper Mario, that was really cool. But then when the GameCube came out, they started doing that a little bit more, just kind of like took the fuzz off of it and like made the images sharper, all that kind of stuff, and really developed Thousand Year Door, which was the second Paper Mario game, into this super immersive story that was like, really crazy out there. And then they also started running with things like Wind Waker. Wind Waker had extreme dialogue.
And it was a massive game. That was another thing that started happening. You have open world stuff.
Yeah. Things started really taking a turn for being a lot larger and a lot more exploratory. Even in Halo, going back to the Xbox, you have such large areas that you can run around.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you were constricted on a pathway or anything. You had that kind of in the N64 and Spyro games and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely.
But, Hyrule Field was freaking huge, massive.
Yeah.
At that time. And then when, you get to Halo, that's like level 1, that's forward onto dawn.
Speaking of the Xbox, and the PlayStation 2 actually came out first.
Well, all right.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, please botch this entire episode.
Burn it to the ground.
Okay. Well, we obviously do a lot of research.
Yeah, we've done absolutely none. Yeah, so PlayStation 2 came out March 4th, 2000. The Xbox came out November 15th, 2001.
Oh, okay.
So a little while after, more than a year.
Well, then Xbox, what the heck were you doing?
Dude, you suck.
Wow.
So
Punch you in the mouth.
here's something that I always thought was hilarious.
What?
So you've got the PlayStation 3 came out November 10th, 2006, and the Xbox 360 November 16th, 2005. Xbox 360 was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to completely revolutionize the way movies are watched. And they released this thing called HD DVD. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
So you had to buy a separate player to plug into your Xbox, to plug into an HDMI cable, to plug into your TV.
Well, it wasn't even HDMI at that time, was it? It was.
I think it was.
It was like.
Well, I guess you have. I mean,
it was an AUX cable. I think.
Yeah, I knew a couple tech savvy people, so I think it was HDMI at the time.
Oh, okay.
Well, with the Xbox 360, you had HDMI capability.
Yeah.
But yes, so you plugged in a separate system, and I think it was like $100.
Yeah.
So $100 a pop for the system, and then the DVDs were astronomically more expensive than normal DVDs. They were like $35.
Yeah.
And it's just madness.
Absolutely crazy.
So what happened was they tried to do this, and a couple people bought them, namely the McDonald's, like my childhood friends, and I remember this.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the restaurant. And I was like, what?
My dad gave Lewis's dad so much grief over it after like... Okay, anyway. So the PS3 comes out, and Sony makes a massive investment. They're like, okay, Xbox is doing this. A year later, they come out with Blu-ray.
Yep.
On the PS3, and that just changed everything. So they were losing something like $50 for every system sold.
Yeah.
Just because it was so expensive at the time. But everyone's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to buy this because it comes in the system.
Right. And yeah, it was a Blu-ray player.
It was a Blu-ray player.
People still watch Blu-rays.
Well,
and
that's
DVDs
why.
are starting to fade out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people still watch Blu-rays.
And that's because of the massive investment that Sony made. They formatted it to where it was inside the player. So the laser read both, you know, game CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray. And I'm not sure how difficult or simple that is, but apparently it was too difficult for Xbox to do.
Apparently it was too difficult for the Xbox to even care about.
So it saved you like $100, and the Blu-rays were a little bit cheaper than HD DVDs. And I'm pretty sure within like 2 years, HD DVD was just dead.
Yeah.
Stopped
production,
just completely gone. But yeah, so PS3 was losing $50 per system they sold.
Oh, wow.
Which is like
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
$500 million or something like that.
Yeah,
which
but
is
they
wild.
were probably, you know, making it back up with all the Blu-ray stuff. Like,
well, eventually
they had their fingers into that Blu-ray stuff.
And so once all the Blu-rays, DVDs, the physical copies had been sold, they started raking it in, and HD DVD was dead because they made that massive investment to put the player and the system, and they won.
Yeah,
and they won really big.
Yeah, I remember when the PS3 first came out, I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, first off, it's really bulbous and bulky. The PS3 as a system.
It was all right. It was kind of ugly.
Yeah, but it had a very sleek design.
I think the 360 was more handsome system.
Yeah. And then the GameCube was like, I'm a cube.
I'm literally... I'm not even a cube.
I'm not even a cube. I'm a rectangular prism.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And you were like, I need that.
I was like, this is my lifeblood.
It has a handle.
It has a Okay, hold on. I need to freak out for a second. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on.
What?
I love the fact that the GameCube had a handle.
Why?
I have no idea.
It's honestly so dumb and completely useless.
So dumb.
But it's so cute.
Completely useless. But for me, I was all freaking about it. Because I was like, this thing is like a glorified lunchbox. And I love this thing. This thing's awesome. And it plays awesome games. And then I got the Game Boy Advance connection that went into the bottom and allowed you to play Game Boy Advance games on the GameCube. Bring that back, Nintendo. I know you are listening to us because you listen to us for everything. Nintendo, bring back handheld games on big screens. I want that so badly forever.
They're already doing that, though. It just depends what the game is.
All I'm saying is that...
Do you really want to play through Sapphire on your Wii U?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I do.
You and like 12 people.
Me and those 12 people will pay big money for it.
Oh my.
I want that so badly forever. I actually have so many stupid memories, mainly with Nathaniel.
Shout out to Nathaniel.
Again. Just playing like Minish Cap and Mega Man Battle Network. Like, we would play those games on his bigger, screen, TV. And it was just so good. I loved it. All right. I'm going to calm down for a second.
You're good.
Okay.
Another thing that about the GameCube that
also it had a handle. That was awesome.
Yeah, it did have a handle. But speaking of other impractical things that were eventually phased out, I always forget about the size of the GameCube discs.
Yeah.
They're so small.
Tiny little baby.
I don't know why that is. I know Iwata was obsessed, just completely obsessed with compression and making things smaller.
Yeah.
And almost to like the point of Steve Jobs' obsession with that kind of thing. It makes me think of the Silver game, Pokemon Silver.
Yeah.
It's the exact same size, physical size, as red or blue or yellow, but it holds something like 6 times the memory.
Yeah.
Because he was like, well, I want to put 2 regions in this game, so I'm gonna literally invent a form of compression.
Right.
And it just amazing.
That's so good.
It's still used today.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that continued.
Yeah.
All of that technology continued, and now we have, iPhones.
Yeah.
But another thing that was also eventually phased out, which was apparent on all of these systems, was memory cards.
Oh, yeah.
Memory
well,
cards...
it's just because of the massive scale of these games,
But also, like, memory cards were weird. Like, I remember it was interesting because for the Xbox, you had the memory card, and it was like a little, square that you'd carry around, and you could take it to your friend's house and plug it in, and you could
That
play.
was a great aspect of it.
Yeah. But the thing is, they would, fill up or get lost or, anything like that. And it was kind of hard to kind of deal with because, you're putting it in the hands of kids because that's who you're selling to. And kids are running around, TPing people's houses in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
They'll lose your memory card.
Like we're about to do in 30 minutes.
Yeah, dude. Jacob, I'm looking at you.
Oh.
We're running around with that. Then the PlayStation, the Xbox, they had these memory cards that were, like, longer. And they always reminded me of, like, crackers. Like, club crackers. I have no idea why, but I
Fair
always
enough.
just was like, that looks delicious.
I
even
should
though
eat
it's
that.
blue and see-through. Like, I don't... Anyway, maybe it was just me.
Yeah, but then you got the systems, and those have either internal or external hard drives.
Exactly. And when the 360 came out, you had the external hard drive.
Removable hard drive was probably the best part of the Xbox 360.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
That's why I do not have a current gen system.
Because no
Seriously.
removable hard drive?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I bought an Xbox Elite, and it had 120 gigs on it.
Right.
Which was apparently mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And it was huge.
Yeah.
The thing was huge. It was like 3 or 4 inches by like 9 inches. It was enormous.
And whenever... Well, okay, so the GameCube kind of came and went, and we that got us through our teenage years, but high school was when... Or our years of high school.
I feel like middle school was...
When I started doing high school stuff, I started playing Xbox.
Xbox 360?
Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And so that's when I played things like Oblivion and Halo games. Anything that had... Assassin's Creed. All those kind of games that I had on the 360. I actually didn't get my 360 until way later than everybody else did.
Yeah.
But when I did have one, I would bring my hard drive over to my friend's house, and I would just plug it into the back of their Xbox.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. And it was really cool because, like, when all of the guys would get together, we would just kind of, like, share our hard drives and play whatever games we wanted, and the others would be playing, like, a handheld or, something like that. So it was really interesting to be able to do that. I know that I put way too many hours, not as many hours as Sean Dugan.
Shout out to Doogie.
Put like a astronomical amount of hours into Oblivion, but I put my fair share of hours into Oblivion. Yeah. And I remember there was a time, I think either very early high school or late middle school, that Spud and I would just be sitting in the room, and I'd be playing Oblivion. He'd be like playing The Sims on the computer or something. And one of the things about those consoles is they got really, really hot.
Oh my gosh. Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of Red Rings of Death.
And so, like, we would be sitting there and, we'd play, and the room would heat up. And we'd be like, oh, we can't stay in here. It's like a sauna. Because I also had like a giant bulb TV that we were playing on.
We should have mentioned that as well.
Yeah. And so, that was pretty interesting. The 360 actually stuck around in my friend group for a very long time.
It's still in our friend group between you and I. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
play Halo on the 360 still.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really awesome. I enjoy...
It's a good system.
It's a good system. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the games that came out on it. And I like the feel of the controller.
Oh, those controllers are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like PS3 controllers make your hands hurt.
Yeah.
They don't fit the hand.
Yeah.
The Wii controllers, like the nunchuck, spot on.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
Yeah. And
PS3, man, get with it.
Controller design, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this earlier. It's like the interesting designs of controllers as they evolved. You had the 2 buttons and a D-pad, then joysticks, and then 2 joysticks, and then the weird wraparound buttons, and then it eventually got to when the Wii came out, everyone was like, what is happening?
They were like, we would like to play.
And they were like, we don't have cords, so there's one. It was like wireless.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
No. So there were wireless. There were wireless controllers before that. Like, I know that there was wireless controllers for the GameCube, but they were really, really faulty. They would lose connection, like, in the middle of your game.
PlayStation did it before.
Yeah.
They did it 9 days before the Wii came out. They had their wireless controller.
The wireless aspects of that were not put to halt there. The reason why the Wii was so weird was because it was a motion control. And when motion controls came in with the Wii,
I hated that phase.
I love that. I thought that was
it worked
so
well
good.
with the Wii, but then PlayStation was like, let's give this a shot. And they had the iToy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that was terrible.
Yeah. So I think Nintendo did it right. And then also...
oh my gosh. You know the Kinect?
And then there was the Kinect.
I brought the Kinect in to GameStop. And I was like, hey, I know I'll probably only get a little bit for this. We paid like $90 for it, which is a huge add-on.
Yeah.
That's a massive cost. And he's like, I can give you like 2 for it. I'm like, 2 what? $200? Are they rare? He's like, I give you $2. I was like, what? So the every 4 years that my father decides to play the Kinect is worth the $2 that I saved that day.
Oh my goodness. It's really funny because when Alistair's family from Scotland came in, we played the Kinect.
Oh
It
yeah,
was so interesting.
it was great to watch, like, not young people,
Yeah.
not particularly young people, just have a blast playing the Kinect because they've missed out on so much.
Oh boy, it was so good.
They're like, this is probably the best system that's ever come out.
It's like, now you don't understand. And then you get into current gen.
I don't like current gen at all because what we mentioned earlier, the whole online necessity of it.
That's something that really bothers me, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not on board for games losing their local multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge backstep in everything that console gaming has to offer. So, hi Natalia, if you're still listening. There's
can't
a lot
imagine you are.
Yeah, I can't imagine you are. That's a huge drawback for me personally. That's why I won't purchase an Xbox One. I got a PlayStation 4 because I managed to shenanigans my way into a PlayStation 4. And then
and Battlefront.
Yeah, and Battlefront and but those games, they just don't offer a lot of party friendly kind of gaming things.
Yeah, it's true.
It's it is catered to the player that sits down and wants to grind things out and, be an online multiplayer person because all their friends have it. But I think part of gaming is being able to sit down with your friends and play with them, face to face.
Yeah.
You meet up and you hang out and you play games. You bro out, and it's order a pizza. Just have a good time.
It's good to be able to play online with everyone, obviously, but it does lose a little bit of the friend community. Like kids nowadays.
Well,
that sucks, man.
Yeah,
you don't get to sit down with your.
That being said, you have so many things that make it decent to play online, like Reggie and all them. Reggie and Steven and Anthony and Nathaniel. I don't know if Anthony has one, but they all play Xbox online together, and they'll sit in a party chat, and they'll just hang out and talk with that. I don't personally like that, but I can understand why people do.
Yeah. Well, it's just the progression of, our culture.
Yeah, and you've got the headsets and the microphones and all that kind of stuff, but I would much rather be able to sit down and play a game with somebody,
People online are not as nice as people who you're actually friends with.
Yeah. Well, even if you're actually friends with them online, you don't get that personal interaction.
Yeah.
And I think that's a weird, big setback for me.
Yeah.
Then there were games that are just absolutely catered to the fact of playing online.
Grr.
And
Halo 5.
Halo 5 was a really, really...
There's a
really big turn-off.
That is the only reason I don't own an Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's because Halo 5 didn't have local multiplayer.
Yeah. That's really upsetting. It was...
Lost
I'm sure
$500.
I'm sure it's a great game. I'm sure it's a wonderful game.
I'm never going to play it. Boycott.
But, well, I'm not going to boycott it. But...
I'm boycotting it.
Okay. I'm just never gonna buy it because I don't think
boycott.
Okay. Yeah. So
in conclusion, all right, we're gonna say what console she should buy on 3. 1, 2, 3. Xbox 360. Oh. GameCube's pretty good.
It's got a handle.
Yeah, GameCube's really good, but it's old.
Yeah, it is.
360's got a lot of games.
It does, but it doesn't have a handle.
That is true. You could glue a handle onto it.
There we go. Solve all the problems. I think,
and they're cheap.
If you want, oh wait, but you can't play YouTube videos on.
Oh, I win!
Dang it! Can you play it on the 360?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. But
Yes,
for
you can.
for the later gens, if you're looking for something a little bit more up to spry,
I hate to say it. Wii U
yeah,
is pretty good.
Wii U is pretty great, and you have Mario Kart on it. You have,
But then again, there's some games that are exclusively online, such as Splatoon.
yeah. There's
But Mario Party and stuff like that, good games. And
the Mario Party for the Wii U is
that one's bad. But is it compatible with Wii games?
Yeah.
There you go.
There
Xbox
you go.
is not backwards compatible. PS4 is not backwards compatible. You have a much bigger library of games to play.
And also with all the digital downloads that they're releasing, a lot of the games are being re-released from GameCube era.
Yeah.
And some of them are even getting HD remakes, which are pretty sweet.
That is true. Like Wind Waker.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess.
Don't. It's not HD.
It's beautiful.
No, it looks exactly the same. It is beautiful, but it looks pretty much exactly the same.
But it's sharp. Okay. Anyway.
Having said that the Wii U is a good choice, the NX, the Nintendo NX is coming out next year.
A week.
No, next year.
In like 28 hours.
No, next year.
Like 13
next year.
hours.
Next year. Next year.
Okay, so yeah, and
so you might want
to hold off. See what the future has to
But
offer.
if you want it now, I'd say Wii U is a pretty good choice.
I would say the Xbox One is not for me.
Don't get an Xbox One. PS4 if you're looking for a Blu-ray player as well.
I think you have to like download something, but it should be easy enough.
For the Blu-ray?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into
I think it just comes with it.
Yeah.
If you want HD, if you have a massive collection of HD DVDs, buy an Xbox 360. Yeah, you should probably reevaluate your entire life.
Oh boy.
So, anyway, I think that's the show.
All right. Well, that was our little spiel on console gaming. Find us on Facebook, Podomatic, Twitter, email.
Find us on email.
If you want to get a little episode idea thrown out and into our system, we'd love to hear from you. Like we talked to Natalia, we'll talk to you.
Yeah. That's Gmail. The Gmail is the BSL podcast at gmail.com. Same at Twitter. And then you just Facebook the Bite Size Lemons.
Yep.
Or just Bite Size Lemons. And YouTube Bite Size Lemons as well.
Yeah, dude.
And like and subscribe and thumbs up and react.
Just please like us. Like, just enjoy our company.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Hey, bye, guys.
Wait.
Hey, so we forgot to high five, so come over here.
Let's do this.
Huzzah. Bye, guys.